What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson. Fireside Giants powered by BetUS, but today, guys, I know that the Giants' Week 1 performance was pretty ugly, but there were some silver linings. There were some bright spots, and honestly, if you take a look at this Giants rookie draft class, you've got to feel pretty excited about the early returns that we're seeing from some of these guys. The Giants had 5 rookies playing starting snaps in Week 1. Now, that's not normal. That's not necessarily a good thing, but those 5 rookies played well. They all played a decent amount of snaps, and Darius Masua, the 6th-round pick, had an interception, forced fumble from Andrew Phillips. I mean, when you have 2 rookies starting in the defensive lineup and both of them force a turnover, I feel like you're pretty excited about that. Not only that, but you also have to mention Malik Nabers led all rookie wide receivers in receiving yards. So early returns, positive signs for this rookie class. We want to go ahead, again, focus on one of these positives here coming out of an ugly game and just shine a bright light on these rookies. But Alex, let's waste no more time. Let's just go ahead and dive into it. Which rookie really stood out to you in Week 1, and why are you so excited about this rookie class?
Well, this rookie class, at the very least, made a positive impact in a lot of ways in this game. Of course, Malik Nabers led all rookies in Week 1 in receiving yards. And, you look at Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, he was running, 16 miles an hour? It was not looking good for him. I think someone joked he looked like he was a New Balance commercial because he was kind of just jogging around. But I know Kyler missed him on a couple of open looks. In any case, Malik Nabers was looking spry, young, and super athletic. That's what we wanted him to be. Now, the next part of it, and that's what Brian Dibble said today, we got to get him the freaking football, first and foremost. And then they asked him, what do you got to do on offense? And he says, score points. It looks to me like Brian Daboll's getting kind of fed up with the lack of production going on here. All he can do is call plays. Yeah, I think he was a little bit conservative, but to set up the deep game, you have to be good in the short to intermediate game. You can't just take deep shots all game. And I understand we want to be aggressive, and I think he should have been in a lot of ways. But if Daniel Jones can't hit the easy crossers, I saw him throw a ball in the dirt behind Theo Johnson on a literal wide open play. You can't hit the deep balls either because you have to be able to force the secondary to bite in, and you have to force them to respect the different routes that you're running so that way you can capitalize on other opportunities. They just did not respect the Giants. They said, all right, we're just going to cover the deep parts, and Daniel Jones is going to miss his receivers anyway. They did have 5 drops as well, so that didn't help much either. So I do think that if you can't run the basics of this offense, what can Ryan Dable do? He can't call the deep shots if the short plays are not working and they're not capitalizing on easy opportunities and taking what the defense is giving them. So I will give Brian Dable a little bit of credit there, and that I think that system or that offense will look a lot different if they're actually hitting on the short to intermediate stuff. The deep game will come with it. They just couldn't do the easy things, and that's really what led to Brian Dable's frustration today, is that the offense was incompetent of doing the necessary things that allow them to be explosive and aggressive. You look at the Dolphins, they run screens to David Achane, and everyone knows they're doing it, but it churns out 15, 20 yards on each one of them. So it forces opposing DBs to bite down into the box and obviously try to protect the shallow concepts that they do run, which opens up these deep shots to Tyreek Hill. And, everyone knows Tyreek Hill's running deep, but they still can't stop him because they're setting these plays up. The Giants cannot set plays up if they don't if the opposing defenses do not fall for the bait. If they don't actually bite down. I think that Nabers, we saw some signs of it. We saw him open on occasion, and if Daniel Jones lets some of these routes develop, I think that he will have these shots. But he was getting rid of the ball too slow at times. He wasn't able to get through his progressions, and his mind is just not fast enough to get the ball out. The ball's got to be out of his hand faster on the when he does see these open looks, and Nabers should be a benefactor of that. So I was impressed with what I saw from Nabers, but, let you get your take on that. I know there's a couple other guys specific on the defensive side that did impress you as well.
Yeah, I was obviously impressed with Malik Nabers. You knew I would be. I think we all knew that we would be impressed with him. He's the real deal. He looked good. He's just got to get the ball more. They have to find ways to scheme him open, whether it be some screens, whether it be some shallow crossers, or if they want to send him downfield and give him more 50-50 balls. The one that he got, he came down with. He leaped up in the air, great body control, made a great catch on the left side of the field. We need more of that, though, and that's on Daniel Jones. Got to get the ball into the hands of your playmakers. Sometimes you got to throw in the tight windows, got to throw balls that might get intercepted, and just give your playmaker a chance. That's what Malik Nabers needs, just more chances, and hopefully we see some more of those against Washington on Sunday. But yes, flipping over to the defensive side of the ball, was really happy with what I saw in Drew Phillips. I just filmed a film breakdown on him. That's going to go live on the channel sometime this week, so stay tuned for that. But man, that was exciting to keep an eye on because, listen, he had plays in there where he looked like a damn linebacker. Like the guy was in the box making tackles for loss, like as if he was Bobby Okereke himself. Then he has, of course, the forced fumble on the first drive of the game. That should have resulted in 7 points for the Giants. They get a field goal out of it because of their incompetent offense. I'm going to get pissed if I start to think about that some more, but all I really have to take away from that is textbook tackling from Drew Phillips, forced fumble, recovered by Okereke. That's what you want to see. And that's what we hope we get accustomed to. But he had other plays throughout this game, a touchdown saving tackle on Jordan Addison on the goal line. He had a tackle for loss later in the game while playing linebacker, basically, as a nickel cornerback. These are the things you love to see because the Giants, they need run support, but they need a cornerback that they can rely on when they put 5 defensive backs on the field. I think they got both here with Andrew Phillips. Really excited with what I saw from him. Alex, how are you feeling about Andrew Phillips? I know that you're a big fan of his. You really have been for a long time. I think he prefers to go by Drew Phillips anyway, so got to get in the habit of calling him Drew rather than Andrew. But what did you see from Drew Phillips that got you excited?
I saw aggression, right? Like he is kind of what I want the offense to be like, but in a defensive mentality. Like he is not afraid to go up and lay a hit on somebody that forces a fumble, which is exactly what he did. He's not afraid to be in man coverage, trailing a guy across the field on what should have been an easy touchdown. I forget who called, was it Jordan Addison on that crossing concept? Like that should be a walk-in touchdown for Jordan Addison. And if you guys remember the play I'm discussing, basically it's just a crossing route, cleared out that entire side of the field. All he had to do was beat Drew Phillips for the touchdown, and really it was what I love the most about Phillips on that specific play is he understood angles. Right? How many times we remember Curtis Riley and the poor angles he took? It was a running joke for a long time. Drew Phillips understands angles. He's a smart player. And you can see it because instead of trailing him directly behind him, instead of being closer to the line of scrimmage, he actually trailed him about a yard deeper into the end zone, allowing him to when Jordan Addison turns upfield, allow him to cut down that angle and actually stop him before getting into the end zone instead of trailing behind him where he could have dragged him in. So I love the fact that you could see it was purposeful angle. It wasn't just a lucky situation. He purposefully did that to give himself a chance to make a play. And I think that's a very underrated aspect of playing cornerback, especially when you're playing nickel in the league. Angles, all those different small mathematical equations you have to make in the blink of an eye. He is clearly very capable of that, and that's been a huge green flag of his throughout the entire process. Was the ability to identify, situation and then react accordingly. I thought that he looked really, really good in that regard. Obviously, the tackle for a loss on that running play was another really big standout for me. I thought he looked tremendous in run support, tremendous in coverage, and forced a fumble. Tackling technique was A+. That is a rookie, guys. He looked like a 5-year veteran in the 16 snaps he did play. If he's fully healthy and he's not starting every single snap this upcoming weekend, I will be very pissed off, to be quite honest with you. I do not think Cordell Flott has earned the right to start the games. I think what we saw from Drew Phillips has certainly bought him a chance to be the primary starter moving forward.
Yeah, actually, what I noticed, just to give you more context on that, Alex, and give you some extra info, what I saw in my film review of this game, remember how we talked all offseason about Isaiah Simmons playing that cash defender role and how he would only be on the field for certain big nickel and dime package lineups? That's the reason Isaiah Simmons had 0 snaps. Andrew Phillips played the cash defender role. So whether you want to criticize that or just praise Shane Bowen for going with the better player on that Sunday, I mean, Andrew Phillips was balling out. I mean, you can shake that one of two ways. I agree with you. Cordell Flott should not have been playing slot cornerback. He practiced outside all summer long. Didn't make sense. But just to add more context to it, Andrew Phillips was actually playing that cash defender role that we thought Isaiah Simmons was going to be playing all season long. But he did play it extremely well. So I wonder if that, for the long-term snap count of Isaiah Simmons, probably isn't a great sign, but also is a really good sign for the Giants and the talent that they have at nickel cornerback. Now, Alex, we also had Tyler Nubin lead the team with 7 tackles. I feel like that went under the radar. He wasn't perfect. He had some plays in coverage that he needs to clean up, and he had some opportunities to make better plays in run defense. But 7 total tackles, I thought that he looked decent, and he did have a few plays where I thought he looked pretty solid. What was your reaction to Tyler Nubin on the back end there, starting alongside Jason Pinnock, of course? I'm feeling pretty good about what the Giants have with these 2 young defensive backs, and Drew Phillips and Tyler Nubin. Need to see more, need to see it across more games throughout a season, but feeling encouraged. What are your thoughts on Tyler Nubin?
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking at Tyler Nubin, I think that he is a really young, exciting player. And you mentioned the 7 tackles earlier. I mean, this is a guy who's not afraid to help in a variety of ways. Whether it's as a ball hawk, traditional free safety, he can step up into the box and help you in the run game. He's fearless in that regard. He gets hyped. I loved what I saw from him because he was getting super excited and super energetic after the plays he did make. And he seemed to have that leadership. I mean, he was a captain for Minnesota for years. So I do think that he's got that mental fortitude that this team is lacking because of the loss of Xavier McKinney. You cannot listen. This team lacks a lot of leadership in a lot of different positions. You let Saquon Barkley go. You let Xavier McKinney go. You let go 2 of your primary leaders on both sides of the football. You have to replace that with leadership. You can't just bring in random players and hope that they're going to offer you the same thing. Tyler Nubin, he's not Xavier McKinney. He's a rookie, but he's got the same leaderships as Xavier McKinney. He's got a lot of upside to be just as good as him in the long run. And I think I saw a lot of really good things that I was really inspired by and optimistic about from this game. So I think, what I want to see is game by game compounding, positivity in a lot of ways. Like there's a lot to be desired with this Giants team. Obviously, a lot went wrong in week 1, but this Commanders team is beatable. Like they should beat this Commanders team. And Tyler Nubin, playing that deeper portion of the safety. What is Jaden Daniels so good at? The deep ball. He has a beautiful deep ball. What I really want Tyler Nubin to do is be that ball hawk we saw him in Minnesota. So I really think that he can be that good. He just has to play his game and not let the team being bad, if they are that bad and they don't rebound, don't let that shatter his confidence. Because a lot of these rookies, their confidence is shattered because the Giants are just bad most seasons. I think they have to just remain individually confident, do their job, play their game, and be proud of their individual performances. But obviously, it is a team sport, and they have to do it collectively as well. So, Tyler Nubin, that leadership quality that he does have, imperative to the Giants' long-term strategy, but at the same time, he can support in the run game. He can do a lot of good stuff in coverage, and I'm excited to see his continued growth this year.
No doubt. And the last player that the Giants gave significant steps to as a rookie, Darius Masua. I think that's how you say it. I still don't have his name right. Masua. I really liked the way that he played, though. The interception was great. I know he had some things to clean up. He had some missed tackles. Not everybody was thrilled with his performance. I saw on social media, thought maybe those snaps should have gone elsewhere. Actually, update on him. He was on the injury report today, was a little bit limited in practice. We'll be monitoring that as we get ready for week 2 versus the Commanders. But Darius, the linebacker, with an interception, and I thought it was a really nice pick. I mean, it was a concentration catch. You saw him bring it in, all hands, no body. It was a great catch, I thought, interception of Sam Darnold. Again, the fact that the Giants had 2 turnovers forced in this game, and both of them were by way of rookies, is a very encouraging sign. Alex, what was your reaction to his performance in week 1?
I mean, listen, I think Micah McFadden was on a snap count. They didn't really want him playing too much, let him get healthy, but Masao looked pretty solid. As a 6th-round rookie, Giants are leaning on a lot of youth this year. But I will say this, he was flying around the football field. He was making some nice tackles, had the interception, right place, right time. That's a key quality for a linebacker. There's upside there. Like there's definitely talent there. I would like the Giants to keep building on it. I know he was out today with a knee injury, so it's possible he doesn't play this upcoming weekend unless he gets back into practice within the next couple days. Really by tomorrow, because then they have to have the injury report out by Friday. So I do think that, there's a lot of interesting stuff there, but the coverage qualities look like there was some upside. The tackling, the energy, the athleticism, like he's got some good traits. Now it's just about, really just outplaying expectations for a 6th-round pick. Like nobody expects anything from David Masao. But if he can, kind of move past those expectations and put some good stuff on the field and build confidence, you never know when you find a gem. The Giants have definitely struggled to find those, but it's about time they walked into one like an Elijah Chapman. We'll see if he becomes something, like quality long-term. But I do think that long-term, when you look at a guy like Masao, that's someone who could be something. And I just want to see if he can beat out Micah McFadden for that LB2 job.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if that becomes somewhat of a battle here, whether they just had Masao out there in week 1 because McFadden was injured, or if they had him out there because they really like what they have in him and they want him to play a lot of snaps. I think we'll get more context to that as the season wears on. But of course, like you said, monitoring that injury with him, we'll see if he plays in week 2. I think McFadden, at the very least, will be playing in week 2. He seems healthy, but it's going to be interesting. We've got a few more days until the weekend hits. Over the weekend, we're going to be doing some game previews and discussing this week 2 matchup with the Commanders as well. But we got plenty of content rolling out on the channel throughout the week. So make sure to stay tuned and make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. Without further ado, catch you all on the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.